Hello everyone, it's Mrs. Smith again here for another RE session all about community. If you haven't already caught up on sessions 1 to 6, then please do go back and complete those first before doing this session. Today we're going to be carrying on thinking about how different religions and different faiths work through community and how they respond in different ways. Today we're going to be focusing on Hinduism. Before we do that, I'd like it if you could just take your lovely people paper chain that we've been building up over the course of the last few sessions. Just remind yourself of some of the things that we learned about Sikhism, particularly in the last session. I hope you had some yummy meals with your vegetarian cooking that you were trying out, like the langar and the gurdwara. I've definitely got that word equality and sharing going on now in my Sikh person, just to remind myself of some of the things that need to be happening in a community to make it work. And the reasons for that is because Sikhs believe that God is in all and through all. Really something really good to remember. So let's move on then to thinking about Hinduism. And I'm just going to share with you what you need to do to go and get for today's session. We are going to be thinking about Hindu beliefs, the actions and consequences that maybe they believe in, and how that helps a community get along. And to do that, you will need to go and get 4 pieces of paper today. We might not use all of them, but it's good to have spare, lined or plain. You get your pencils ready, and if you can, hold on to your people chain that we can add to later. So go and get those things now. Excellent. Well, it's really good to be spending this time with you, and we're going to play another game. If you can remember the last session, I introduced you to a would you rather. I hope you had some good chats with the people in your home about that. And I've got another fun would you rather for you to try out today. I'm going to give you 3 choices. I want you to think about each of those choices, and then you have to choose one of them. You definitely have to, as if your life depended on it. And then I want you to think about the reasons that you would give. So today's Would You Rather is all about superhero powers. So I wonder which superhero power out of the following you would choose. So here we are. Would you rather have the power to heal? Would you rather have the power to fly? Or would you rather have the knowledge of everything that a person is thinking? So the power to know everything that a person is thinking. Have a think of those 3 options. What would you rather choose? Now I'm thinking I would really love to have the power to know everything that a person is thinking. I'd love to see inside a person's mind and just know, because I think that might help me. And it might actually help me in a community setting, a bit like yourselves with all the groups and things that you belong to. Have a think and share with the adults in your house or in your home. Share with your brothers and sisters. Maybe bring it up over dinner. So the power to heal, power to fly, or the power to know everything a person's thinking. I wonder what they would say. Right, now that we've had a little bit of fun to get us warmed up today, it's really important that we think about those reasons in our RE thinking. First of all, I want us to think about some duties that you might have. So what I'd like you to do is choose a day, any day of the week that you might have just had. And I want you to think about the things that you had to do on those days. So, have you ever felt like you have no time to do what you want to do? Maybe you've got to practice a musical instrument. Maybe you've got to look after a younger brother or sister. Or maybe in school, you've been asked to complete a job for a teacher, like handing out the books or carrying something for them. On your piece of paper, so choose whatever piece of paper you like, I would like you to think of one day from this week, as I said. And I want you to think about all the list of the duties that you should have completed, or you definitely completed that day. Have a think, pause the video here and come up with your list of duties. Fantastic. These are great lists of duties. Now I want you to have a look at my list of duties for today. Got it written out here so that I know what I've got to do. So I've got here Mrs. Smith's duties: make the bed, clean the kitchen, water the garden, write a shopping list, go food shopping, hoover the lounge, and feed the cat. Those are the things I have to do today. Now, I want you to compare my list with your list. And I wonder if you've got anything that's similar to mine, or whether you've got lots of different things. Were the duties on your list super important that you had to carry them out on that day? For example, if I didn't feed the cat would starve, wouldn't they? So it's really important we think about how important some of these duties are. What about going food shopping? I'd have to do that or try and fit that in another day if I didn't go today. So is it important that I did that today, or could that maybe be put down the priority list? Have a look at yours and have a think. Now, I want you to write a new list of duties that maybe one of your parents or the adults in your house would have had to complete today or one day this week. Maybe take this time to go and speak with the adults in the home with you and ask them, what duties do you have to fulfill today? See if you can write them down, and if you can, put them in an order. Pause the video here to go and do that. Great. Now look at that list of duties, compare it with your list of duties and compare it to mine. You've got 3 lists to compare now. I'm sure your parents or the adults in your home, their list is much different to mine and yours. Again, do you think that their duties are important? And how are they different from yours? Take a moment to think about it. So when it comes to Hinduism and the Hindu faith, they have a principle, a way of thinking that involves duties. So we're just going to have a quick look at what their core main duties are. I'm just going to share the screen with you. Here we go. Let's have a look. So in Hinduism, they believe that there are 5 daily duties. These are things that they have to do every day. They call it the Pancha Mahayagnas. And these 5 duties consist of worship God at the home shrine or at the mandir, which is their community place of worship, using ritual, prayer, or meditation. Study the scriptures. Their sacred scriptures are called things like the Vedas. Contemplate, that means think. Think about the teaching of the wise and the actions and the words of elders. So people who are really important in the Hindu faith and in the mandir community. And ancestors, those people who've come before them. Provide food for humans or animals who are in need. That would mean that Mrs. Smith gets it right by making sure she goes food shopping. Got to keep Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smith happy with their food. And serve guests with love, respect, and reverence. Now, reverence is quite a big word. Reverence means that you really see them as being more important than you, and you want to humble yourself in front of that person. Now, serving guests with love, respect, and reverence, that is very similar to a couple of the other faiths that we've already looked at. I can see that coming out in the Sikh faith. I can see that also coming out in Christianity that we've looked at in the different ways that we've explored. Now, I wonder, what might a Hindu child and a parent do during the day to make sure that they are fulfilling these duties? Take another piece of paper, and on that piece of paper, I want you to choose 3 of the duties. So you might choose worship God at the home, or worship God. You might do provide food for humans or animals who are in need, and serve guests with love. Those are the 3 things you might choose, for example. And I want you to have a think about how that Hindu child and that Hindu parent might fulfill those duties during the day. So if I just move that down so you can see all of it. I've got some sentence starters for you there so you can give it a go. So choose 3 of the duties and complete the following sentences. A Hindu might fulfill this duty by, and then you write your answer. This would be a good action to take because, and then say why that is important. Then I want you to think about yourselves. Imagine you are a Hindu child or a Hindu adult, and then say how you might fulfill that duty and why it would be important, a good action for you to complete. So you've got 3 different duties and 4 sentences to complete for each one. Pause the video here and have a go and see if you can complete them for yourself. Great. I am sure you have really thought about those different duties that you will have to fulfill each day. And it's important to recognise that these duties would be different to fulfill at different stages of your life. For example, you as a child, your duties would look different to someone who may be married as an adult, or someone who is a parent, so is in charge of a family. Think about your parents, what they might have to do as their duties. And even when you're much older, one of the duties involved learning from ancestors. So actually family time and family connection for Hindus is so important, because that elderly person would be the one sharing the information, sharing the wisdom to the younger people in that community, in that family unit. So there's a lot there about fulfilling duties and doing actions in order to get by in life. And that's definitely something that Hindus believe in. But now we're going to have a think about what Hindus believe about consequences to their actions. Now, this is a very important aspect of living in community with others. Hindus believe in Dharma and karma. Okay, Dharma and karma. They're key concepts. Karma means the law of cause and effect, and it's linked to the idea of Dharma as well. So most Hindus believe that every action they take has an effect or a consequence. So something happens here, the knock-on would be this consequence over here. Okay, so that's something to get in our mind. So whatever I do as my action here will always have a consequence. So I'm going to just share with you a couple of scenarios now. And I wonder, and you can draw this if you want, I'm happy for you to do that. But I just want you to just think about those scenarios and come up with a consequence of what might happen as a result of those actions. So let's have a quick look on the screen. So here are the 2 scenarios. Remembering, whatever the action is, there's got to be a consequence, as I've written up there on the screen. So I want you to think about this one. Here's the scenario. You're being unfriendly to a new girl in the playground. So that's the action. So if I hover the arrow there, what do you think the consequence could be of that? Have a bit of thinking time. See, for me, that girl's going to feel lonely, going to feel a little bit lost. A new girl to the school. If you think right back to our very first 2 sessions, when we thought about the story of Amy joining a new class and not necessarily feeling welcomed, that wouldn't help that child feel super happy about themselves. They would probably feel really down about themselves and go home that day not really wanting to be part of that community again. Have a think about the next action. Carrying in the overflowing bags of shopping from the car. Now, I'm sure you've possibly done that yourselves, helping mum or dad out with the shopping. What might the consequence be if you are carrying in those bags? See, I think that would help your parents, that would help the adults in your home get the shopping in. They wouldn't feel as stressed. They would feel that they had been respected and you had been kind to them. And it might well be that those bags may break, but lots of hands to pick them up might actually help everyone and everyone can then get on with their day or fulfilling their duties. I'm sure there's lots of other actions that we could think about and what the resulting consequences could be. But this is a really important aspect of living as a Hindu. So have a think. How do the Hindus, following those 5 duties that they do, how might that impact on the consequences that they choose after the actions that they choose to do? I really think that the 5 duties really help Hindu people consider how they should behave towards others. In the Vedas, which is the Hindu holy book, as I mentioned, says this: do not do to others that which, if done to you, would cause you pain. And I wonder, consider how this would have had a positive impact on a community if everyone followed those words. I'm going to say that phrase again. I'm going to read it from my script here. It says here in the book of the Vedas, the Hindu holy book, it says, do not do unto others that which, if done to you, would cause you pain. Consider how this would have a positive impact on a community, even if everyone chose to follow those words. I think it would have a huge impact. And think right back to what we said about living in community. Just really thinking about what you're doing can then help one another. Think about that kindness that we thought about. Think about bringing happiness to people. So it's time to have a think now about your people chain, your paper people chain. We've got one more left on here. You can go away and make some more of these if you want. It's not a problem. But I'm going to take from here, because we're going to think about what we've just learned about Hinduism. I'm going to take on the word action and consequence. I think that's so important, thinking about that actually our actions do have a consequence. I'm going to remember that word karma, because that was so important for Hindus. And I'm also going to think about the daily duties. Can you remember how many there were? That's it, there were 5 daily duties. Because fulfilling those can have a huge impact on how they feel and how they want to interact with everyone else. So this is what I've written on mine today. Have a go. Pause now if you haven't added to yours yet. Now, in the next session, we're going to be thinking about humanists. Now, they're not a religion. They're not a religious group. They stick to a worldview. And we're going to be thinking about the rules that they follow in order to live in community with others and the world around them. So thank you for taking part in today's session. It's been lovely having you on board, and see you next time. Bye.